Welcome back. This is an Aleks homework video on identifying oxyanions. So oxy is from oxygen, and anion is a negative charged ion. And there are a few rules to go over as you're learning these and learning to use them. So the first of all is that it's named based upon its having oxygen. Then if you form one anion with oxygen, you're going to call the end of that, the suffix is ate. If a element combines with oxygen in two different ways, the one that would have the lesser number of oxygen, you would call it ite. Okay, so let's take this NO3 -1. We're going to call that nitrate. NO2, which is a different form where it's forming only with two oxygens, it's also -1, is called nitrite. And for many, you're only going to have one form of oxygen. So if there's only a single form of oxygen made, you call it ate. You will have several that, like nitrogen, that forms more than one. And so if there's a lesser number of oxygen, you would call it ite. So you just have to know, in the case of nitrate, nitrite, that it forms two different kinds of oxygen compounds. NO3 is forming an ion, and NO2 is also an ion, both of them the same charge. In very rare cases, only two that I know of, both of them are from group 7 oxyanions. They will form 4 different types. Okay, so let's do bromate. Okay, so if I were to say BrO -1, BrO2, BrO3, and BrO4. All of them are same charge, but if they form 4 different ones. I think chlorine is the only other one that I know that does this, chlorine and bromine. It is possible that there's others. I'm ignorant of a lot of stuff. But I know that this one happens, and so I'm going to need 4 different names. So they take the one that's most common, the most common one, and this will be 8. Okay, so this is going to be bromate. Bromate. The one that's right under it in oxygen is going to be ite, so this is bromite. Okay, so bromate, bromite. Now, the one that's bigger than normal, bigger than the most common, you're going to need a prefix before you get to bromate. So this is going to be, it's one word, perbromate. Okay, we saw that before with permanganate, MnO4, permanganate. Perbromate is BrO4, okay? And then bromite is the one lesser than bromate. And then if you're going to have one lesser than that, you have to have a prefix hypo, bromite. Okay, so this one is ites, these ones are eights. The top one has pair in front of it, and the very bottom one has hypo in front of it. Okay, so as you know, just because you're going to have O3 doesn't necessarily mean it's 8. It usually is. If you only have one possibility, like sulfate, SO4 -2, it's not persulfate. It's just the only one, so they call it 8. So if there's one compound that it makes with oxygen, it's called 8. If there's 2, the lesser number of oxygen is called ite. In the rare cases where there's 4, it would be hypo, something ite, something 8, pair, something 8. Okay, bromine and chlorine are the only 2 I know about. All right, so let's do your question. They're asking you to identify this one. Well, chlorate is just like bromate, so you're looking for the one that's 2. Okay, so it's going to have an ite. It's not bromate, it's chlorite. So Cl or ite, and this is an anion. chlorite anion. And now the sulfite anion, okay, so remember you've got sulfate and sulfite. This is coming from your knowledge of them. What is sulfate? Sulfate was SO4, okay, -2. So if that's sulfate, sulfite must be one less oxygen. So it's SO3 and the same charge, -2, sulfite. So sulfite ion is SO3, -2. So some of this is coming from your memory and some of it is figure outable. Okay, but I hope that helps.